All right, here's a quick recap. So you guys uh, came on land from the Bight onto basically the neck of Westeros, and you headed south down the King's Road, and you were met by a outpost of Frey soldiers. And you, in order to pass, essentially, you agreed to aid the Frey commander, which was a guy named Ebbers Weatherford, uh, to trick someone at the village of Bears Crossing and to bring them back and capture them. When you got there, you noticed the person was a 16-year-old squire, and you decided to betray the Freys and warn him of their coming. And with him, you ambushed the Freys and then took Sir Ebbers captive. Afterwards, due to the danger to Bears Crossing from the Frey soldiers, Lewin Vantry, which is the squire, led you away from the village with most of the villagers towards Tower North, which is the home of a landed knight named Colin North. And you are currently on your way there. And let me bring this up. All right. With inhabitants of Bears Crossing in tow, Lewin Vantry leads you to the Tower North, home of a landed knight named Colin North. Lewin explains that Colin is a landed knight in the service of House Mallister and was a servant of a relatively insignificant noble house in the Reach called House Cloverwood. The Lady of Seaguard is Wyn Cloverwood, who married Lord Dalinar Mallister and sired his 3 children. The tower itself is not large or grandiose. It appears to overlook the Cape of Eagles to the northwest and has long likely been a watchtower for more than a defensive structure. There's a watch on the top of the tower, which seems to prove that guess to be true. Although you cannot currently see the bay, it is likely that it is not the case from the top of the tower. There are a few guards posted along the base of the tower, but there is no large garrison or fighting force. There's also very few buildings nearby. There appears to be a stable and a few other buildings off the road, but nothing large and noteworthy. As you approach, a half-dozen riders make their way towards you from the stables. At their head is a woman wearing a dress of purple and green. All right. As you make your way towards the tower, Lewin turns to you and he nods and he's like, "Good, Lady Wyn is here. She'll be able to set everything right and tell us what to do." And he informs you who she is. Obviously, she is the wife of Lord Dalinar Mallister. He doesn't explain or give any reason why she would be at this tower instead of at Seaguard. She rides up to you with about 3 or 4 people next to her, guards, obviously, and she looks down to Lewin and then at the rest of you and sees Sir Ebbers secured with a rope, and she looks at Lewin and then looks at everyone else, and Lewin says, "These men helped us with the Freys on the road. They tried to attack Bears Crossing again, but we decided to evacuate everyone, and they helped me take this knight prisoner." And she looks at you and she says, "Is that so?" And she looks back to Lewin and nods and then says, "I am Lady Wyn Mallister. And who might you be?"
Ian just has like a pleasant kind of smile, and he looks at her and says, "Well, forgive me for being on horseback, my lady, but my name is Ian Spire."
She says, "And that name is supposed to tell me something, or?" She clearly doesn't know
I,
who you are.
I wouldn't expect you would know who I am. I'm a noble of the Stormlands.
And she says, she nods and she looks to the girl and the man-at-arms, and she says, and you?
I introduce myself. I am Araldus, a man in employment of Lord Ian, and this lively fellow to my right is Sir Evers of House Frey, who attempted to employ us to betray and capture someone within Bear's Crossing, but we decided your house to be the more noble of the two, and assisted you instead.
And she looks to the girl.
Claire gives her a little bow, sort of from horseback. Says, I'm Claire, my lady. And indicates Ian as my father.
So when kind of nods, and she's like, you're from the Stormlands, you said?
Ian just kind of nods his head.
And she's kind of looks sidelong at Ian, and she says, the Stormlands is far away. What are you doing in the Riverlands?
Well, if you know a history of the kingdoms, my lady, you would know that the Stormlands no longer belong to Stormland noble. For a time, I was disposed, and I was under the employ of the Targaryen. Oh, one of them.
She's like, a Targaryen? I only know of one Targaryen. Are you a man of Queen Daenerys?
He kind of, and I'll roll an act for this, but he kind of like breathes in deeply and kind of ruffles his mustache at that. And with the act, I'm kind of trying to outwardly show that like there's maybe like some like not miscontent, but like where he's thinking about the subject a lot, just to kind of like hide my true intentions.
Okay.
And he looks away for a moment. He says, "No, I'm not a man of hers anymore. She, for too many years, has been stealing from me, taking advantage of what I'm good at."
She's like, huh. I see. And she just doesn't really give you a reply. And she looks at the others and she's like, very well. Either way, we should go inside and talk.
Of course, my lady, lead the way.
Okay.
What would you like with this Sir Evers?
Bring him along. I'll put him in the buttery.
Sorry.
So, and she kind of feigns a smile, and Lewin like takes him by the wrists and leads him into the tower. Inside the tower, it is very simple. Doesn't look like there's much to it. On the base floor, it looks like there's a couple tables and comfortable chairs. And then there is, on the back side of the tower, there is a staircase that goes up, a spiral staircase. You assume that each level of the tower has some sort of different function. There are probably some sort of quarters higher up, and then likely in these watchtowers, one of the top layers is actually, or top levels is actually for the guard, for them to go up into the top of the tower to watch, right? So Wynn takes you to basically right inside. Lewin takes Sir Evers into a small different room and like disappears for a while. Wynn basically points to the chairs. There's enough for the four of you to sit, and she sits in one, crosses her legs, and she's a very long dress, obviously, but crosses her legs and kind of leans back, and she's like, "So what, besides you helping us with the phrase, I wonder what a man discontent with his queen would be doing here?"
Well, milady, I happen to be a man who's quite good with coin. I'm also quite good at taking stock of land and making money out of nothing. And I'm also quite good at talking to people. No, negotiating, if you would want to put it that way.
And she kind of like looks into the air and looks like she's thinking. She's like, "That's not what I asked. I asked what you're doing here."
Had nowhere else to go. We were accosted off the fingers by who actually attacked us? It was this other character. It was
The finger. You're talking about House Sunderland.
It was. Yeah, it wasn't House Sunderland. That was somebody else.
Arian Stormbreaker, wasn't that his name?
Arian Stormbreaker. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We were accosted by Arian Stormbreaker. I don't know if you would know of him, my lady. We had enough money to play for a bribe, but House Sunderland, we had the same amount as Stormbreaker.
She asked. She's like, a bribe for what?
Well, we figured we'd come that way. You know that region's notorious for pirates. Although I can't imagine your house has much to deal with that side of the ocean.
Like, no, we are mainly deal with the Cape of Eagles and Iron Man Bay.
Well, just to say the least, pirates are known in the region, and so we had brought a bribe to have safe travels. The last I would want is something wrong or something ill to befall my dear daughter here. And we came afoul. We washed up in the neck. Met a delightful young man. He kind of he like looks down at that comment. Fancied some of the local cuisine and made our way down the King's Road, and that's where we bumped into the phrase. And I, sharing no love for the phrase.
She leans forward slightly and steeples her fingers together, and she says, "Not many people have love for the phrase. They're very unlikable, clearly."
They were unlikable back when I was a young man myself, especially after what they did. And even before that.
My lady, is it true Walder Frey, Lord Walder, still lives?
That is what they say. I could not say in one way or another. I would not be surprised if it was a lie. But that is the rumor.
As my lord has said, we simply were attempting to leave the New Valerio and use the money as a bribe for safe passage, and came across Arian Stormbreaker, who convinced King Sunderland that we were a threat of some kind to be returned to the Stormlands, and we escaped his attempt to capture us, and we washed up in the neck and have been moving south since. And knowing of the misdeeds and the dishonor that Lord Frey has shown over the last years, we thought it more prudent to side with the side of virtue and the side of just, and that was the Malisters.
When smiles slightly, and she's like, "I'm glad you see it that way." And as she's about to speak again, Lewin kind of pops his head in. He's like, "Did you say something about Aryan Stormbreaker?" And he looks at Lady Wynn. He's like, "I'm sorry, my lady. I heard something I wanted to."
Yes, sir, Lewin. He attempted to capture us, and he now has a nice scar on his buttocks as a reminder of what happens when he cross blades with me.
Ian just kind of chuckles.
Lewin, you don't really expect this, but his face kind of goes grave, and he's like, "I haven't earned my spurs yet, but also my father is Jarl Vantry, and he serves the true king of Westeros, Aegon Blackfire." And he kind of looks at Araldus and then back to Lady Wynn. He's like, "My lady," he's like, "Aryan Stormbreaker is known as a man with impeccable honor. Although these men have done us a service by taking the phrase, I do not know that I would trust them if they have ran afoul of Sir Aryan." And she kind of looks at the squire and then looks back at Araldus and then Ian and Claire, and she's like, "Is this true?"
There's just like a moment where like Ian kind of puts his hands up to say, "Well, Blackfires and the Targaryens are notable for, well, obviously, they spur from the same family line, if not directly. And I had served the queen for many years. It was known that I was one of her major income revenues, and I would be a prize to be sent back to her, but I owe no allegiance to her anymore. And so, I know not the man, but we were not treated very well on the Three Fingers. That I can assure you."
Lewin speaks up and he's like, "Of course not." He's like, "House Sunderland are no better than pirates."
All I know is I hope his swordsmanship is better than his honor, because whatever his intent was, it was ill towards us and was unwarranted. Whatever reason he thought there was to detain us. As Lord Ian says, maybe he thought we had some sort of information on Queen Daenerys, but that is not our fight. And he attempted to make us part of it, and we were well within our rights to resist that attempt.
So Wynn kind of looks at Lewin, and Lewin doesn't look sure about what's being said. It has the sting of truth, but also potentially not. And Wynn looks at Claire, and he's like, "My dear," he's like, "what would you say of this?"
Claire, who has been feigning sort of disinterest in all the talk of politics, trying to play herself off as the flighty teenage daughter. At that question, she sort of bridles a bit. She says, "Well, all I know is that this squire told us that we would have safe passage if we helped him catch the bad man." And then she just kind of huffs.
Lewin,
No, Claire.
yeah, Lewin nods. He's like, "I did say that, and I did not." He looks kind of, maybe a little bit flabbergasted, I guess. Maybe not quite flabbergasted, but
What a word.
he's a bit taken aback. And Wynn says, "Here is the problem I have." And she leans back again, and she's like, "As you can tell, this tower is not heavily guarded. The Rangers are out scouting, and Sir Colin has went to do the same. If these men from Bear's Crossing come here, this tower will be taken. And she kind of like puts her hand to her cheek and she says, I tell you what. Where are you going? Let me ask you that first. We have access to ships and the Cape of Eagles. If you are truly trying to rid yourself from Queen Daenerys, there would be no faster way than to make your way down the coast on this side of Westeros.
That is what we aim for. To get as far south and as far away as we can from Lady Daenerys. He just kind of says, openly defiant of her.
She nods and she's like, I need something from you.
Seems everyone needs something from me these days. He just kind of like has a smug, like Peter Baelish grin at that.
And she kind of smirks and she's like, someone must recall Sir Colin and bring him back to the tower. So, go ahead.
And my lady, your best guess on his whereabouts are?
She says, it would be in the vicinity of the tower, or Seaguard.
Well, I won't pretend to be an expert on anything of navigational means, my lady. One thing, I'm not from around here, and two, neither is my man here.
And she shrugs and she's like, well, there's only way I can grant you passage on a ship. And that is if I survive. So what we'll do is we're going to do a intrigue here. So your purpose is basically to get a ship, right? Or passage on a ship. And yes. She wants you to help her get Colin back to the tower. So we're going to go to 5 successes. This is just like the Aryan Stormbreaker one, where her successes are multiplied based on how many people participate. And that's it. So you guys can change every round who's participating. I do need to bring something up because I forgot to stat win on the Roll20, so bear with me. So you let me know who you want to participate. And remember, you've started off with a deception, right? So kind of, well, it depends on what you say, obviously, but you're kind of leaning that way as deceiving her as your reasoning for leaving. It just depends. It depends what your role play is, but just keep that in mind.
If we're looking to deceive or bluff our way through and kind of agree to anything as long as it suits our goal of getting south, Araldus has a decent deception. His intrigue. Go ahead.
I have a 4 in deception, and basically every stat that I could do intrigue-wise, I have a 4 in. So, and then specialties, I have a lot. Let's just put that.
Like in bluff?
Yes.
Okay.
So I would be rolling 5, keep 4 on bluff. I think I have one other thing. Don't you have specialties or qualities that give you bonuses to deception?
Well, he just boosted his deception with XP, right? So.
Yep, mine's the same. It's test dice, roll 5, keep 4. In terms of, he doesn't have any benefits that increase or decrease that. I imagine your intrigue defense is higher than mine. I believe mine is 9.
Yeah. Mine's
Yeah.
12.
So I would probably say you and you alone, because even if we assist, I'll add 2 to the roll with an assist for a deception, but that doubles her number of successes.
See, that's a problem with this, is because like it doubles our damage. Though it should be that way. It's just like it stops us from ganging up on someone, which is good, but.
Well, we both have the same test dice, so what it comes down to is if we both pitch our own ideas, it's going to double her successes. So if she gets anything more than 3 successes, she wins. Or, since you get to go first with your one benefit, you can just do a straight deception bluff and hope you get a lot of successes against her intrigue defense, and the same applies to me. So if we can muster 5 in the first go, we win. If we get 4, she can't get any more than 2.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, but you also don't know what the initiative's going to be besides Ian going first, right?
Yeah. Because it's status, isn't it? To determine that.
It is status reputation, I believe.
She'll be going before me.
Yeah, Claire rolls pretty well too, right?
Yeah, she's roll 5, keep 4 also. Intrigue defense right between the other two, 10.
So,
and that's
I mean,
what
you
it
could.
comes down to. If all 3 of us could go in the first round, and then all 3 of us would have to spend a DP to make sure her roll doesn't exceed 1.
Yeah, if you want to spend DP.
So I'm more than happy letting one of you two.
Well, Ian's obviously the face man.
You're the point man, so I'm more than happy you trying to convince her one-on-one while Araldus acts as a guard and stares off into the distance.
Oh yeah, I just don't want to step on people's toes, but like, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I'm game with whatever.
You can talk. Claire can talk to her lady to lady.
Yeah, I guess we can do that. So we were agreeing on like we're gonna try to deceive our way into just like saying, yeah, we'll do everything we can if you give us a boat.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean we can't at a later date decide, you know what, it's in our best interest, let's do it anyway.
Right. The deception, I mean, if you are willing to help her, that's not a deception, right? But if you make any comments about, yeah, I'm fleeing Daenerys Targaryen, that's a deception, right? So,
yeah, I mean, gray area.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
it just depends on what you say. If you say, and you intend to, yeah, we'll help you find Sir Colin in exchange for a boat, then that's persuasion. Right, that's a persuasion bargain, right? But if you say, yeah, we'll help you find Sir Colin if you give us a boat, and you have no intention of helping her, which I don't even know how you would do that, because basically you have to do that now before she gives you a boat, right? So
basically, yeah, I mean, I would lean towards deception simply because even if you read the description, we're using the deception to mask our intentions and hide our agenda.
And
we
that's
all know
fine
what
too.
Our agenda is and our intentions are. But that doesn't mean we can't decide that this ultimately is beneficial to us. But we're just agreeing to do it through duplicitous means or to cover our own actual agenda.
See, that's the tough spot, is because like I can see it being justified either way. I can see it being deception or persuasion, but deception is definitely what we're using.
I agree. You what your role play depend, or how you role play it will depend what I tell you to roll.
So just roleplay well. There you go.
Yeah.
So let's, besides Ian, everybody else should roll status. Status breeding, I think.
Yes, it's status breeding for initiative and intrigue.
$12 for win.
One moment, I am at the coffee pot.
Rob. All right.
Bum bum ba bum.
Now they're just rolling initiative. They're not actually participating in the round, right? Yet, anyway.
That's correct. You can roll initiative without, like, I should probably do it for Lewin too, because he could actually get in there and then it wouldn't be multiplied by 3. Because he's not sure what he thinks of you guys, obviously.
I like this. We're all glancing over the fact that he mentioned True King, since he, technically serves King, Host, or Baelish.
Well,
Not technical, right? It's just technically they were True King.
so shit, that was Lewin right there. Claire's a 6, so alright. Ian, go.
You need me to...
No, you don't need to roll. Go ahead and you go first.
My lady, there, I do believe that there's not much to discuss here. You have already suggested what I've come to seek. I seek to, and my charge here and my daughter seek to go south, find some sort of employment as a merchant for the rest of my days, and set my daughter up for a good wealth, find her a husband. That's all I wish to acquire from this point on. You're offering a boat to us. You're offering us passage. What more could I ask from you? That seems as fair of a bargain as any. And I would be willing to help you as to find your husband and more. My wife, my late wife, was from the north, and although I know you're not from the north, this is the Riverlands, right? That's
Yep.
the character.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sir Colin is not her husband, by the way, but that's okay. Sir Colin is a landed knight of this tower. Her husband is Lord Dalinar.
He's like a sworn shield to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
As I've said, you've offered exactly what I've come here to seek. You laid bare my intentions before I even got to speak them, which is kudos to you. And he just kind of smiles at that.
okay, go ahead and roll your deception roll. Deception bluff will be fine. One degree. Yep, go ahead.
We didn't pick my whatchamacallit, the disposition, I believe.
Yeah, we're not doing those. Remember, this is not a full intrigue. It's the quickest to success intrigue. So no dispositions. So deception bluff is it will?
Oh crap! Hold on.
Yeah, I mean I can flip it open, but
I forgot that we had that.
Scrolling. Deception bluff is your cunning rank. Wait, what are we trying to do? Convince, bargain?
well he did a bluff, so bluff should be something very specific.
Well, what technique is he using? Because, if you're trying to bargain your way through charm, you use different influence.
Yeah. That sounded like a bargain.
Maybe.
Bargain. I would say bargain.
Oh,
it's cunning rank.
Yeah, it's cunning, which is what, 4?
Yes, it's 4.
1 degree of success. 4.
That's what you said earlier, anyway.
Yep, it is 1 degree. All right. So Lewin does not engage currently. He just stands back, and Wynn says, I really shouldn't be loaning out boats without my husband's consent. And she kind of puts a hand upon her lips and strokes them and says, if you do find Sir Colin and bring him back, I can talk to put in a good word with my husband and have him decide on this matter. That is truly the way it should be. And so it's going to be a bargain as well. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. 18.
Dear God, really?
And I'm doing this against whoever has the best intrigue defense on your side.
Probably me.
Which is a 12, right?
Yeah.
So that's 2. Okay. Anybody else going to participate?
No, because that goes right to 4, doesn't it?
It would.
And then it would go to 6 if a third person participates.
That's true. So her going second actually helps you.
Yeah, let me think here.
Unless you think you can get her, and then Ian can get her, right? If between the two of you can
intrigue defense again.
Oh, I can't tell you that.
Let's see. 15 is 1 degree success, so that means it's as low as it's as high as 15 and as low as 11.
Yep.
Well, the good news is Ian goes first.
Yep. So if you both can, if between Adraldus and Ian you can get 4 degrees of success, you would win.
I don't know if I want to attempt that, dude. That's a 15. I rolled pretty high on those rolls, man.
And you can, well, let's look. So you rolled, where is it? 5, 4, 3, 3. Mm-hmm. You could also spend destiny points, all that kind of jazz, right?
Yeah. I will say this. The dice rolls were kind to me earlier today when a knight of mine in the game Tet and I are playing basically in full plate did a triple Lindy over the wall.
Dude, my dice rolls were better because I had to roll like 5 dice and I succeeded on every single one of them when I probably shouldn't, at least the one.
Mm-hmm. So with that saying, I'll let you decide. It's a gamble. If I can get 2 degrees, that gives us 3. That gives her 4. Since you go first on the next time, all you need is 2 successes and we win.
So just keep this in mind. If you lose, right? It isn't that anything hugely negative is going to happen. She's just going to talk to her husband before giving you a boat. Right? That's really it. I mean, she wants you to do, right, and she convinces you to help her.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. So keep that in mind too.
I think Araldus is going to chime in.
All right. What does he say?
Araldus looks at Wynn and kind of sees something that maybe it's imagined, maybe it's not, but he sees kind of a need for her to recall Sir Colin. What the reason is, he's not quite sure, but he tries to play upon that.
All right.
And so Araldus goes, my lady, it is clearly important to you to defend the people of your lands, the small folk, as well as the people of Bear's Crossing who have retreated here to Tower North. With that said, it seems that Colin North is the person, Sir Colin is the person best served to defend this land against any free incursions. I think we'll be able to help you recall him or get him recalled to the tower. In exchange, though, I would like to see, without the needs of speaking with your lord husband, a boat. What is one boat to House Malister when all things are considered? A boat won't help you defeat the Freys. A single boat won't help you repel an Ironborn incursion. But the people of the land will be what you truly need. And with that said, so
is that deception or persuasion?
That's a persuasion in my book.
He's not saying why he needs to go, or why.
All right, that's fine. I shall allow it, since this whole thing is based on deception. 14. 1 degree.
Be spending some DP in a little bit.
All right, Ian. She kind of looks at you and she's like, I can see your point, but it is not my boat to give.
Ian just kind of like places a hand on his head and like rubs his temple and just shakes his head at the upspeaking of his man-at-arms here and just shakes his head for a moment, and then he looks up and he says, my lady, you have put forth terms, and those terms have already been discussed between yourself and myself. Now, I do not mean to be presumptuous, but neither my man nor myself nor my daughter have any knowledge of this region. You're going to send out more than that. I want more than just a saying, because the last time we were promised something, my daughter almost ended up getting raped, and we ended up in a cell on a boat going back to somewhere where we should have never been, and we paid for safe passage. The Fingers took my money, and now you're going to take my services without any recompense. I helped your boy here. I could have turned him over and been about my way south, but I didn't, because I owed some sort of pittance, and I thought it applicable to not turn to the devious phrase. We've set a deal, haven't we? You get me a boat, I will help you.
All right, go ahead and roll it.
What do you want me to roll?
Roll. You can roll deception, bluff, or you can roll either on that one. You can roll deception, bluff, or bargain, persuasion, whichever. That's a good roll. That's 2 degrees of success. So that's 4 degrees of success. So when looks at you and she's like, you have done us a service, I agree. And that will not be forgotten. And Lord Dalinar is a giving man. And he is an honorable man. However, I am simply his wife and the Lady of Seaguard. I have no authority over ships or men, and therefore I really should ask my husband. I would ask just for patience. I am sure my husband will come to the same conclusion that I have, that you should be rewarded with a boat to wherever you might be going. Okay, so this is going to be a convince. So here we go. What's your,
It's 12.
It's 12, 1 degree. That's plus 2. She's at 4. Heraldus. Finish her off.
I mean, really, we could have Claire finish her off with that.
Yeah,
but
you could.
You're gonna.
No, if Claire,
Oh.
Heraldus goes first. Well, no. Well, actually, yeah. If Claire could, yeah, go ahead, Claire. Claire can go first, and then Heraldus doesn't go.
I don't know. I just brought up like Claire in the conversation, so it would be thematic for
Yep.
her to kind of speak up at that. Maybe
I think that's
not
fine.
to step on Peck's shoes there.
No, I think it's good. It'll get Rob involved. Go ahead, have Claire.
Okay, Claire, sort of riding on her last little interjection into this. But Father, we've already made a deal with these people. We had safe passage through the Riverlands, and now here we are renegotiating. How do we know that they aren't just going to change the terms as soon as we do what they want this time? And then she looks to the lady. Says, I don't know what to think, my lady. How is it that the deal that the squire made with us doesn't stand?
She says he's a squire. But, no, so that's a deception. Man, that's almost like a...
Act.
yeah, kind of.
I wish I could give you my die, and that's so hard because
What is your deception for Claire?
A 4 deception.
And does she have bluff?
Yeah. She also has convince.
Yeah, that's persuasion, right? So, I would take that as a persuasion too. You can roll either a flat deception because I don't think you have act.
Nope.
Or you can do persuasion, convince.
All right, we will try and convince with that.
That's
And
1.
Well, she can roll that 1.
Oh yeah, re-roll. Go ahead. So yep. So it's actually a, let's see, 5.
19.
Yep. 18. But yep. Okay, that's good enough anyway. So that's 2 degrees of success. That gives you 6. So Wynn nods and she's like, fine. Lord Dalinar doesn't need to decide. I can pull some strings here close to the coast where we have a ship, and I will honor our man's agreement. You have treated us well, and you still have more to do, of course, because Sir Colin needs to return with his men in order to protect the tower. I do not want to... And then, all of a sudden, a man burst into the room. So while you treat with Lady Wynn and Sir Colin Solar, a man bursts through the door and bows deeply. Apologies, my lady, but the Freys are at our door. Lady Wynn stands and beckons the man to continue. 200 men, the watchman counts, heading from Bear's Crossing. She nods and says, alert the guards, bring everyone inside and bar the door. Lady Wynn looks to the newcomers and she says, what must we do?
Well, they move certainly fast for 200 men, but yeah, it's time to fucking leave. Like,
Well, if they don't have how many guards do you have, my lady, at the tower right now?
She indicates that they have probably 20 by her guess.
I mean, that's what castles are used for. So,
my lady, I am hardly versed in that of strategy, but as long as they do not have siege weapons, they will be quite ineffective against us, unless you feel the people and the guards here can make for Sea Guard and reach it before we're overrun by this force.
She shakes her head and she's like, I am afraid they would just hack down the door. That simply. She's like, someone needs to go get Sir Colin and go get him now. While the rest, she shakes her head, needs to help me plan our defense. She looks at Claire and she's like, girl, she's like, I do not know what you're made of, but I would ask you to go with Lewin and perhaps find Sir Colin.
Claire sort of stammers. I don't know what use I could be, my lady, but I'll go with him.
Lewin says, he's like, my lady, I need to stay here and protect you. That would be Sir Colin's orders. You know this to be true. And she kind of hangs her head and she looks at the girl and she says, if I give you directions to where to go, do you think you can do it? I can send some guards with you, but you need to leave now and quickly.
Claire takes a look at Ian as if, asking Dad.
You get like the Westerosi equivalent of like a thumbs up. So it's like probably like a shoulder rub or something.
And she
Patting off of their
A friendly father-daughter shoulder rub.
No, it's more like like a firm grip on the
Go, Claire, go.
So Claire looks back at Wynn and says, I'll do it, my lady.
And she nods and she collects 2 men and she's like, go with the girl and protect her. And she says, I want you to head due south of here and then turn towards the coast. I believe that's where you will find Sir Colin.
Well, Claire takes her 2 lackeys and heads for the door.
Okay, you rush out of the door and you see like this army basically. They're not like marching, they're essentially at a jog, just coming in your direction. And you notice they're fairly lightly armored, from what you can tell. They're not making a ton of noise, but the guard's like, come on, go! And they start sprinting with you in the direction of the southern direction. There's some trees that you kind of make for, and nobody seems to really notice what is happening as you kind of break out and rush to the south. So, go ahead.
Claire yells back to our Bravosi friend, Aldonis. They're lightly armored! As we ride off into the distance.
Okay. So
all this guy just like listens like, all right, just kind of looks at the guards to the left of him and goes, hey, they're lightly armored guys.
Okay.
Gee, thanks, Araldus. We could hear. I don't pay you to listen, Araldus. I pay you to kill.
So Wynn screams, shut the door and bar it. And so some of the remaining guards pull the door back and start like, of course they throw the big wooden beam across the door to shut it. And then they start piling furniture on the outside of it. So now we're kind of split for a minute, and we're going to head back to the tower. So inside the tower, Wynn looks and she's like, what do we need to do to keep them from breaking down the door and entering and killing us all?
Grab their man, put a knife to his throat, make it invisible.
You got men with bows to shoot down from above? Do you have murder holes? What do you have to prevent them from having any sort of ease? Do you have boiling oil?
She like shakes her head and she's like, this is a watchtower, sir. She's like, I don't know. She's like, she just kind of like shrugs. And Lewin steps forward and he's like, we have a few bowmen, but we're kind of taken unaware. They haven't ever come this far towards the coast before. I don't believe Sir Colin has any boiling oil or anything as such. There might be some rocks if they try to come towards the door. We could fling down from the top of the tower, but I don't think there's anything sophisticated that we could use to prevent a siege of a tower. This is a tower, a watchtower. He's like, the problem is I would easily just flee, but I think we'll be caught. And Lady Wynn cannot be caught by the phrase. And he's like, cannot be caught.
Raldus kind of rubs his chin and thought, I don't suppose there's some secret passage out of here. Because failing that, you're going to have to rain death from above and have the rest of the guards funnel them and keep them contained in the event they break through the door.
Okay.
Because if we can keep them choked off, we have a fighting chance. Their numbers won't count for much, but if they break through the main hall, it's only a matter of time before we're killed.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do so you're planning the defense of the tower, and they are going to plan the assault. So Ian and Araldus will do either a warfare tactics or a cunning decipher roll, and essentially you are trying to get to 8 successes before they get to 8 successes.
Oh, I can do cunning decipher. I've rolled 5, keep 4. So.
Yep. So you both. If you tie in the same round, so this is round 1.
Lewin has command, and warfare 3, so that might be something we want to.
You can use Lewin instead of you if you want, or instead of one of your characters.
I would use the 2 of us. We have higher dice.
Yeah. Obviously, I was just looking over Lewin's sheet because I was playing him last time. I'm more than game to do cunning decipher and try to decide what their movements are as kind of direct the flow, because what we're gonna do is the door busts open, we follow up the stairs if they get that far, and we trickle up the stairs to a new room, trickle up the stairs to a new room, spend more time fighting in the stairwell, trickle up to a new room, all the way to the top.
Okay, so Araldus, why don't you go ahead and roll? I assume you're rolling a cunning. And since you already gave your advice on what to do, so you can go ahead and roll that. Let's see. Let me bring them up real quick. What'd you roll? 1 degree of success.
13.
Okay, Ian, what do you propose?
Let's see. Like I said before, it's more along the line of the same kind of thing. It's we're trying to stall them in the best way we possibly can, even before they even get inside. So maybe either through conversation or striking a conversation with the leader, holding them there for as long as possible, even when they get to continue when they get inside, try to delay them as much as possible. So have little melees in the bigger rooms, and then protracted longer engagements up the stairs. With all the guards, if that makes sense. So that's just the long-term strategy.
Okay, go ahead and roll your cunning decipher then.
Nice.
Well done.
So that is 3 degrees of success. All right, so your total at 4. All right, they're gonna roll. They don't tell you what they're doing, obviously, but so that is a total of 4 degrees of success. You guys are tied.
Should probably let me this double up thing is not working out well for us.
No, you're not doubled up. They're just rolled. They have 2 guys rolling. They have 2 units. You have 2 people planning. It's not doubled up.
Oh, well then, let's just continue then.
Yep.
Araldus looks, bar anything, obstruct anything that can be used to enter on the ground floor, windows, anything of that nature. Identify if they have ropes, hooks, and ladders. If they have anything for scaling the tower to a higher entry point. Drop everything into, including a tub full of boiling water if need be.
Okay. 15. That's 2 degrees of success. So you have 6.
So I think Ian is going to grab what's his face, Ever Weathers, by the back of his hair, and like put his face up against like an open window and put a blade to his throat, and like shout down at them. Obviously, to the point where they wouldn't be able to land a shot on him and kill him, but like, you know, and then start shouting down at them and say, "I'll cut his throat if you step one more step closer," and you know, all that other stuff.
Yeah,
And-
go. Yeah, go ahead and roll, but with a -2. Like, just take -2 off that, whatever you roll. That's so that's 13. That's 1 degree of success. So you're at 7.
Jesus Christ, they're gonna get multiple degrees.
We shall see. 1 degree. Two degrees. 7, 7.
Tied up again.
Yep, it's not the first 2 since there's no initiative, so we'll see if you guys are tied at the end of this round. We'll keep going until someone has more.
Araldus looks out the window, trying to identify the type of gear they have, what it seems they are designed to do. If these are people that are lightly armored because they're good at scaling walls, or if they're more of a raider type of individual looking to just burn and slash, or are these just your general infantry that may be able to hack at a door but don't have much sense in terms of engineering capability or siege capability.
Well, they clearly don't have any siege engines. They don't have any battering rams. They don't look like they have any ladders, anything like that. Some of them appear to have mail, so they would be your typical infantry. Some have bows, so there looks like partially, at least some of them, are archers. And another part of them appear to be lighter armored, probably who Claire saw, and the bowmen as well. None of them have like huge amounts of armor. Probably mail is as heavy as the armors they have, and that's it.
Alrighty. In that case, he says, we're dealing with your standard soldiers. They'll have a hell of a time scaling the walls of this tower if they're capable of all. They have no ladders. They have nothing to bring the walls down. They have nothing to batter the door down. They might be able to hack at it with swords and axes, but we'll be able to disrupt that and keep them contained within the ground floor. Keep them coming in ones and twos. Don't let the tidal wave break through. Fudge.
1 degree. Ian.
He is going to again kind of look over our situation and kind of judge theirs. So like what kind of men we have, what numbers we have, what like arms and armor we have compared to theirs, and kind of like try to read their movements and like see what they're gonna do. Because have they made any moves and gotten towards a door? And
They're still on their way. They're still like a couple 100 yards away, but they're jogging. There's time to set up if you're going to set something up, but I mean, what you can do is, yeah. I mean, as far as force of arms, you have 20 men. They have 200-ish, and your guys are super lightly armored. Couple with
These
mail.
aren't the Northern Rangers, are they?
Probably some of them are a part of that group. But yeah, the tower doesn't have a garrison. So they probably are a part of the Rangers. So they're most of them are super lightly armored.
Yeah,
with bows.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm just basically doing the decipher thing, the same thing I've been doing, just helping understand what they're doing and getting men ready to fire.
Okay.
I won't pretend to lead. I'm just making sure they understand what's happening.
Okay. Uh, 3 degrees of success.
That's 4 for us this round.
Yeah,
We're up by 4.
so they have to get 4, or they 1, 1. So, your plans, between everything, barring the door, your placement of men at the windows on the top level, understanding that you will have a distance advantage with your archers on the top of the tower before they get through. Your archers start peppering down upon them before, at their max range, well before the archers on their max range, because they're shooting up, you're shooting down. And you basically slow them down enough where you secure the door completely, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to quickly get into the tower. And instead, even the 20 archers or so you have, plus Lewin, who also goes up to shoot his bow, and they kind of pull back and start making a perimeter to, it looks like, to decide how they're going to besiege the tower instead of actually attacking it directly. Okay. All right, so as the arrows fall in somewhere else, Claire is heading through some small wooded area. She and the guards hear, like, in the distance, the rustle of fighting, but eventually they get far enough away that they don't hear anything anymore. And the guards look at the girl and they look around and they're like, I have no idea where he could have gone, my lady. He's like, I hope you do. And they just keep walking along with Claire.
Well, Claire tells them that Lady Wynn told us to go south and turn towards the coast.
They're like, okay. And they keep going in that direction, but you feel that maybe they were kind of not exactly the most specific directions. Like, when are you supposed to turn? What are you supposed to do? So let's go ahead and roll survival tracking. Okay, so as Claire is looking for tracks, she isn't able to really find anything that is obvious, and the guards are looking very apprehensive, and they're like, "Where? Can you find anything? Did you see anything?"
Claire tells them that she thinks we need to turn towards the coast, and we'll find them there.
And they shrug, and they're like, "Okay." And so, your survival's only 2?
Yeah.
Okay. So they turn, and you start heading towards the coast, and you eventually catch this small trail, and the trail takes you, it's definitely not going in a direct linear fashion towards the coast. As far as you can tell, it's going back and forth, and eventually you find a guy, a very small, like, cottage, and there's a small fence outside, and looks like he's planting something in the ground. And he looks up, startled, and he's like, "Oh!" He's like, "I don't want any trouble. I don't want any trouble." And he puts his hands up.
And Claire tells him, "Calm down, good sir. We wish no trouble."
He's like, "My name is John." Please don't attack me.
No. Why is there always a John?
I'm John Schreiber.
All random NPCs are named John. Because I can never think of a name off the spots. They're always John. So he's like, I'm just a simple farmer. Just please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. And he kind of like takes a few steps back.
Aren't these soldiers in the livery of his liege?
Yeah, but he doesn't know them.
Claire, again, calm down, John. We merely seek the location of Sir... whatever it was.
Colin.
Colin, yeah. We're looking for Sir Colin. The phrase, march upon the watchtower.
Okay, so go ahead and roll persuasion. It sounds like persuasion. This sounds like a convince or a charm.
Persuasion.
Okay, 1 degree of success. So he's like, yes, I saw him not long ago. Where did he go? And he's trying to like remember, and he's like, I don't know if I can remember. And he looks up, and he's like, he looks very confused. And he's like, I think he went down the trail, but I'm not sure. And he's like, I don't know. I could be convinced, perhaps with some heavy coins.
I don't even know if Claire's carrying any money.
Or you could just roll persuasion again. That's fine.
Claire tells him, I'm but a simple girl sent by the lady to find the knight. I have no coin, good sir, but you must help us. The phrase.
Another 16. So that's another 2.
That may be better than a 16.
Oh, yeah, because you had rolled a 1. It is. It's a 20.
Yeah.
That is or is it? No, it's a 21. So that is... Okay. All right. He nods and he's like, yes, we can't have the phrase. He's like, I know exactly where he went. I saw, I think I know. And he like points down the trail, and he's like, he was telling me he was checking on all the farmers on the trail. He's like, follow the trail to the end. He's like, I believe he'll be there. He's like, hurry, where should I go? He's like, I'm going to Seaguard. And he has like a basket of turnips, and he runs back inside to get his stuff and leave.
Yes, hurry, John. Then she looks at the 2 soldiers. Come on, let's go.
And they hustle after you, obviously. And you take... you run down the trail, and it takes you quite a while. It turns night before you're passing these small little houses for quite a while, and eventually you come to the last one. And the trail goes on, but you can tell it kind of goes into the woods and probably is nothing past it. And then there's a house, and you notice outside the house there's a few men standing guard, clearly.
Okay, well, Claire will let the 2 soldiers give whatever.
Okay.
Call, password, whatever the...
They just they're like, come with us, and they bring you up to the door, and they talk for a few minutes, and they explain what happens, and they run inside, and out steps this ginger. So
He doesn't have a soul. It's okay. You don't need a character for him.
yeah, he has too much. He has too much of a soul. Is his problem. And so this redheaded guy, he looks like he's in his late 30s probably. He's got a beard, and he's wearing this green cape, and on his hip is this probably one of the fancier swords that Claire has ever seen. At least the hilt is. It had the pommel of the hilt. The butt of it has this this essentially what looks like is fashioned into a clover. And he looks down and he's like, Tower North is under siege. Tell me, what is this about, girl?
And so Claire gives him the Reader's Digest version of the story. We saved his squire from the potential ambush, and the Freys now march on the tower, and the lady's there, and he must hurry. They'll certainly capture her.
Not to mention your father.
Yeah, well, that's not going to be a big motivator to this guy.
Yeah, no.
He's like Lady Wynn, and he basically starts barking orders, and a couple of the guards run off fairly,
Did you tell him how many there were?
Yeah, I think she gave him the general gist of it.
So.
Yeah, and he's like, we need to gather my men, and he sends his guards off in different directions, and in a couple hours, he's gathered what looks to be probably a little shy of 100 men that had been spread out in the more local areas, and they head back up the trail towards the tower. And so in single file, you're moving all very quickly, and you are basically going through the night. And as you get back to the tower, you see that finally the Freys have stopped worrying about the arrows are now rushing the tower. And they're not quite there yet as Colin and his men arrive. And Colin pulls out his sword and screams, "For House Mallister!" And he charges into the fray. And from the tower, Araldus and Ian can see the forces of Colin charge into the field to protect the tower. What do they do?
Raldus shouts, "Let us go out and meet the foe. Remove the barricade."
I think we should leave some guard with the lady at least to have them bar it back up.
Sir Lewin can go hide with her in the privy if he cares to.
Lewin looks at Araldus and he's like, "Not hardly." And he draws the sword and he's like, "I'm going out to have my blade taste blood."
Araldus, knowing it isn't his place to do so, but points to a couple of the guards and says, "Lady Wen, please retreat to the highest point of the tower and stay safe with these two gentlemen at your side until the tower is secure, or till the battle is won."
Yeah, Lord Ian just kind of, he kind of begrudgingly, you can see him stand and pat his knees. He gets up, the old age finally getting to him, and he just shrugs his shoulder and picks up his shield and starts heading out with Araldus, although he knows he's not exactly the best fighter in the world.
If Ian wants to stay behind, you can just control Lewin if you want.
Perhaps Lord Ian would care to help protect Lady Wen. Hint, hint, as he touches his nose.
There's just a kind of I'm no coward kind of air to him, and then he's like, "Oh, I get what you're saying, asshole." And he's like, I'll protect Lady Wen.
And Lady Wen is like, "I appreciate it, my lord, and so will my husband."
Yeah, so I'll be standing basically she has the very top, and he'll be standing in the staircase. to the very top.
Yep, that's fine. So, okay, let me set up this map real quick, and then we'll get started with this.
Man, I really wanted to roll a House Fortune roll.
A what?
A House Fortune roll, because they even made a little neat macro for it.
Oh, you can later.
Oh yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just that I made it like a long time ago because I have all these stupid bonuses. Don't worry. Queen Daenerys has ran my fortunes into the ground, obviously. I don't need a House Fortune roll anymore.
So is Claire going to run out with Sir Colin, or is she going to do anything, or...
Probably not. Claire is smart enough to avoid a pitched battle, as squishy as she is.
Okay. Do you want to take Colin, then? As far as combat goes?
Sweet.
Sure, why not?
Okay. I don't think I have his stats in Roll20, but I can tell you what they are. He's pretty good.
Does he have his special weapon, or was that retconned?
He has the Castle Forge Steel blade.
Not that one.
Special weapon? Are you talking about the Valerian
Midnight
Steel?
Star.
Oh, that's a Castle Forge. That was Castle Forge Steel. Retconned as Castle Forge Steel. He doesn't have that anyway. That was Lionel's sword. That was Lionel's great sword.
Oh, for some reason I thought it was given to him.
Lionel created a castle. It was the first Castle Forge Steel made by the dude in North March. And so, yeah. So he has Castle Forge Steel. So, okay,
Gotcha.
let's, for everyone roll initiative, everyone roll initiative, and then I will...
You might want to put up the tracker. There we go.
Yeah. So, I will, let me get Colin up, and I'll give you the important stuff.
Oh, geez, I forget what initiative is. It's just agility, quickness.
Agility, quickness. Colin, so Rob, Colin has fighting 4, long blades 3. He has agility of 3. I'm trying to look at what is important for you to know. He has, as far as his weapons that you're going to use, so he has a superior longsword, which he rolls 7, keeps 4, plus 2. He does 4 damage.
What was the sword? Roll 7?
Roll 7, keep 4, plus 2.
Yeah, plus 1. Sorry, plus 1. So, yeah,
Okay.
so he rolls 7, keeps 4, plus 1, 4 damage. He also has a long bow. Roll 5, keep 4. Damage 5. Pierce 1. So that's pretty much all you... Oh, and his defense, combat defense is 6. Health 9. Armor rating 8. Okay.
Okay. His agility was a 3. Any
Yep.
quickness?
No quickness.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Ian.
What's his warfare?
Warfare is a 2. So let's see. Araldus. So are you guys rolling initiative? So Ian
I will do
did.
that right now.
Or actually, that's Lewin. So Lewin, add turn. He was a 12. Collins a 14. And these guys.
Oh, shoot.
Bear with me for a minute. What did I roll? Oh, man, nice roll.
Oh.
What's going on?
I'm testing something. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Araldus 16.
Yep. Oh wait, have anybody factored in armor penalty yet on their rolls?
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. Collins armor penalty, I think, is 2. So he goes down to. These guys go down 3.
Mine's down 2 to 14.
14. Lewin's already at 3.
No, that's me messing around with an initiative macro.
Oh, okay.
It should be 12, and I have it set now to where I'll give it to you guys later. But
What's Lewin's armor penalty? What kind of armor does he have?
Jeez, let me look. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, it should be in a sheet. Just
it's Brigandine, so -4.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me. So your guards. Did that roll? No. Fine. Okay. Oops. All right, I think we got everybody. You guys can take care. You can do the guards as well. So let me just. Oh, I can't select them all at once. Hold on. Control. Oops. Oh, that means I have to associate everything. You can just tell me what you want them to do in a roll form. All right, Araldus, you're up.
Araldus, being a cavalier lad, knows that the infantry will be easily dispatched by Colin Lewin and the own guards, and decides to run headlong into the archers based on those squares. Let's see, that's twice his movement for a charge.
Oh, geez, you do know this is warfare, right?
No, this is not warfare. This is skirmish.
This is
this is like zoomed in, right?
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
No, this is skirmish.
Yeah. He's gonna charge right into the first one and say, "Hello, sir. May I introduce you to my blade?" And promptly stab him square in the chest.
Right, we're doing a charge.
Yep. So let me get some rolling going.
-1d +2 damage.
This isn't going to end well for that archer.
Let me make sure I did that right. Yep, 12.
2 degrees.
14 damage.
God damn.
Let's see. Where did I close that? It kills him. So you run up and you just like, what do you do?
Does in a classic Bravosi water dancer fashion, runs up, does a spin in the air, stops, and does a fencing thrust square into his chest, hollering at his friends. There's more where that came from.
Okay. So the archers, seeing you just kill his friend, step back and each of them aim at you and shoot. All right, here's the first one.
Miss. Miss. Miss.
So they unload at you at point blank range, and you're kind of dancing around, and somehow all three of the arrows whiff.
Araldus laughs. Oh, that is going to cost all of you.
All right, Colin.
All right. Colin. Oh, I can't move Colin.
Yeah, I'm giving him to you right now. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, we should have him.
All right. Well, Colin's going to close on this infantry. Let's see. What is the deal with the charge? You lose.
So if you charge, you keep one less dice, but you get 2 additional damage.
I would do it. He's got a lot of die. I know you don't need to get that high because these guys would have an armor penalty, so maybe.
Yeah, it's probably worth it for the extra damage. We'll give it a try anyway.
Okay.
7, keep 3 plus 1.
Like you should hit him. Like you roll 7 die, you should hit him. I say that now, but
3 plus 1.
Famous last words, right?
That'll do.
What was the roll?
19.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's 4 degrees of success. Plus 2 damage is 6 damage. So yeah, 24 damage minus 5, 19 damage. So you charge him, and he is dead. So what happens to this guy?
Okay, so the first infantry guy there, the one close, will move to the square between Colin and the leftmost infantry that survives.
This guy.
And attack them. Yep.
Okay, so I think he rolls. Let's see. So if you want to roll, so he is gone. Where the hell is it? 46. Keep 3.
Okay. Keep 3.
That's 3 degrees of success, 4 damage, 12 damage. So what is this? Okay, so he comes and basically charges him and stabs him, but he doesn't fall.
Okay.
So someone else for this guy, and then someone else for this guy. You guys can
basically the same.
just charge in here.
the same thing will apply basically for that one there. I'll take control of it.
Okay.
I'll
So
roll, and then
yeah, you want to roll? Is he attacking this guy or this guy?
Well, it looks like these guys are probably about to charge this guy, so these guys will attack the fresh one.
Okay. So you can just
And I
roll
assume
the
it's the
same
same
thing.
roll.
Yep, same roll. So that's 1 degree of success. 4 damage. Yeah, nothing. Doesn't hurt him. Okay. So Ian is moving his guys. Lesser action move attack. Is that what you're doing?
Lesser action move attack, yeah.
Okay. So just roll what Rob rolled there. 14. Is that right for those guys?
I'm rolling it off their sheet because I have control over it.
Yeah, it said Lewin. That's why I was asking. But
yeah, I'm rolling it off their sheet.
Oh, okay, I see. All right. Yeah, that's correct. That's going to be oh shit. Hold on. Let me look at Rob's roll because I think I did that wrong. So it's actually 2 degrees of success. So it's 8. So actually these guys are they did get hurt a little bit. Okay, so they're attacking 14. That is going to be 2 degrees of success. That's 3 damage. That kills them. So what happens to those guys?
I think it's just like a mass swarm of guards and just run into them.
Okay. All right.
It's nothing nondescript. It's just like a bunch of guys get stabbed.
Yep.
Lewin is going to... What's his movement? Let's see. It doesn't really say. I think base movement is 5 yards? Yeah, base movement is 5 yards.
No, it's 4. It's 4.
I wouldn't be able to make that then. I guess Lewin's gonna stand in the doorway and observe as the fight.
I mean, Lewin could definitely go here, right? I mean, if you wanted to.
Oh well, if he's got room, then it just didn't look like he had room.
Oh yeah. That's why I made That's why I made it more clear.
Would he have to charge?
No, he can. No. Each square is 1 yard.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, he'll just move there and attack.
Okay. So 17. What's his damage? It's 5, right?
5, yeah.
Yeah. That is 3 degrees of success. That's going to kill him.
15.
All right. So as you're wiping out, Colin charges with his men and starts wiping out the infantry close to the tower, and basically all of a sudden from the tower burst out your former captive, Sir Ebers. Somehow he has gotten free.
Well, guess who's going to get killed?
So let me roll his initiative in this round.
He would have probably been stripped of all his gear, so...
Yep, he's got it all back on somehow.
What? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, by the time you were outside and stuff, he doesn't have his armor on, we'll say that. How's that sound? Doesn't have his half plate on. That would take some time. But no, I think it's fair that he doesn't have his half plate on. That's pretty ridiculous. But let's see. Okay, just fix that. What did he roll? So he has no penalty. So he's actually going to go first. So he comes out of the tower and basically, I don't know why I can't move him up, whatever. He basically charges right at Lewin's back. So he is actually going to charge. Okay, so he's going to roll. Okay, so he rolls 6, keeps 3.
Combat defense for Lumen is 11.
With his shield.
I don't know. That's just the total is 11 in
Yeah,
the box.
yeah, because there's probably like a combat defense like boost. So he hits. What's your armor
Soak
rating?
is 9.
9. Okay, so he charged.
So get a +2.
So his
Base
damage is 6. Nope, not enough. So he charges into you and stabs into Lewin's back, but the blade is turned on his heavy armor. Araldus?
Araldus catches sight of Sir Evers and laughs to himself, seeing him totally unarmored. His attention, though, still focusing on the archers. He laughs and kind of does a sidestep and juke move before charging into the group. Once again, laughing as he charges to the northern one before stabbing.
Okay. You're actually doing a charge maneuver.
Yes, sir. Well then, that's 7 damage.
Yeah, that's 3 degrees of success.
21 damage. That is 5. That is 6. Or excuse me, 5 6s.
Holy shit, you're right. And 2 1s.
That's insane. What?
That is an interesting roll. That's almost as insane as all the blank dice I rolled yesterday in Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that amazing?
That was pretty crazy. There's like a 1 in like 10,000 chance or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, so he steps up and guts the guy.
It was that Dan Marino spin on the way in there.
Araldus withdraws the blade and laughs. He goes, My, I thought you'd be a little more challenging than this. Perhaps you'd like to surrender now while you still draw breath.
There's like a yell from above you in the tower. The Fraser shitbag.
All right, Colin.
And Claire yells, "Lady Win, watch your mouth."
Lady Win's getting heated seeing Colin out there.
I'm getting the vapors.
I think maybe Colin doesn't like Evers attacking his squire from behind.
I think that makes sense.
Now, do I want to charge this guy?
You're gonna kill him. He's got no armor.
Yeah, I know.
He does have a shield, though. His combat defense is very high right now because he has no armor,
So let's not go with the charge. Let's just go with the 76, keep 4 plus 1.
All right, so 22. That is 2 degrees of success. That's 8 damage. So you basically, you strike him, but you don't strike him down, but you damage him significantly. You cut him across the hip. He falls to his knees and looks up, and
Colin sticks the sword point to his chest, orders him to yield.
so Evers curses and spits on the ground and tosses his sword aside and yells at the men around him, which there are few of fighting, tells them to surrender. And essentially most of them do as he orders the surrender. What do you guys do?
Araldus looks for the archers to drop their weapons and kind of looks about to see how much of the original 200 have remained.
Most the archers do drop their weapons. Most of them were routed as Sir Colin brought his men onto their flank and basically took them completely by surprise. And so his 70 or 80 men was able to rout the infantry in front of the tower, and as they did that, the archers didn't want to shoot into their own men, etc., and the guards were able to push them, and so a lot of them fled, but everybody that is still remaining has given up.
Araldus lets the Northern Rangers and guardmen from the tower collect the prisoners, tie them up, corral them into a holding area or some sort of area where they can keep watch, and casually strolls over to Sir Evers and wipes the blood off his rapier onto Sir Everett's clothes and kind of chuckles and goes, "You cheeky bastard, what did you hope to accomplish?"
He looks up at Araldus and he's like, "I fight for my king, just like you fight for your lord."
He sighs. I will give you that, but you fight for the wrong king.
He's like, "I was born where I was born, and hold lands where I hold lands." Then he just kind of shrugs. He's like, "I'm no traitor."
Araldus, not really having a dog in the fight, shrugs and, no, at least there are some honorable folks still in the King Frey's lands.
He kind of looks and he's like, "It is not so. It is only by miles that I serve King Frey. I have cousins that are from a house that I am distantly related to, House Weathers." And he just kind of shrugs and he's like, "Hang me now if you wish."
Oh, let's see what Lady Wen and Lord Colin, or Sir Colin, have in mind. I am just a swordsman.
Lady Wen says, "There'll be no hanging today. We need information." And Sir Colin agrees, and they kind of give each other a look, and it looks kind of awkward between them, and Sir Colin nods to the guards who go and shackle Evers back up again. And he looks at each of you and he says, "I do give you my thanks for helping hold the tower while I was gone and keeping Lady Wen safe."
Think nothing of it.
And he nods to Claire and he's like, "This girl here, she is quick and helped us get back in time. She told me what you had asked of a ship, and I have a longboat on the shore that can take you wherever you might wish within reach and within reason."
Well, we need not visit such a location as of yet. We need to get information out of your man, do we? What better use am I than twining information from someone who won't give it?
Evers laughs and he's like, "I have no information to give. I don't know anything."
All men have information to give.
He's like, "I won't tell you anything."
Oh, many men have said that. If you may, if it may be apparent, Sir Colin, mayhap an outside force may be able to and give you more information upon what you seek. That way the blame can be shifted on someone else.
Sir Colin shrugs and he's like, "If you can get information out of him, I would be agreeable to that." He doesn't seem to have any other opinions about that.
Well, Claire, I think it's best that you saddle up for the evening, and Araldus, if you're up to it, I say we entertain Ebers here.
Sir Colin does comment. He's like, "I'll have no torture under my roof."
Oh, no, heavens.
And I was just getting ready to castrate him. He laughed sarcastically.
Oh, heavens, no, Sir Colin. I would never do such a thing, he laughs. What do you think, be a tyrant? No, I'm no such thing. I have ways of speaking to men.
Like, Colin nods and he's like, "I'll be present when you talk to this man." He's like, "Later today." He's like, "For the now, I need to wash, and then we can sup, and then speak to him."
Very well. I thank you for entertaining us this evening. And, as I introduce myself as I come down out of the tower, obviously, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and Claire thinks that bathing and supping is the most civilized thing she's...
So essentially, you do that. He hosts you. There's a lot going on. Obviously, clearing of the dead and whatnot. And he's like, "I don't have much time. I'll need to leave for Seaguard immediately, or someone will. Someone will need to take Wynn to Seaguard." Well, she's like, "I know that you are busy and you are wanting to depart, so I won't ask you of that task, but I will send my own men to see her to Seaguard and to safety."
There's no need. You need your men here to watch over the peasants that have come from Bear's Crossing. I see no quandaries in turning our eyes from our destination a little bit longer to see that the lady here sees to protective passage to Seaguard.
Colin nods, and he was...
Say this over sup or something.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, if you are offering to escort her to Seaguard, I would take it. It is not far. It is a day's ride south."
Yes, I just looked to, the pretend daughter and Araldus. Does this seem agreeable?
Claire doesn't object.
Not at all, good lord.
All right, well, we don't object. Although it would be pertinent if you had someone other than myself and Araldus, maybe a guard or two, that I could... You said you had a boat here, so we can take it on our way back, I assume.
He kind of looks and he's like, "There's no... It is not... yes, you could. You could take the boat from here to Seaguard. It would..."
Oh, no, that's not what I meant, Sir Colin. I mean, we escort Lady Wynn to Seaguard. We see that she's got safe passage to and there. We come back, we give your men back, and we return. And we take your boat and we leave.
Colin shrugs and he's like, "I'm sure Lord Dalinar would give you a boat from his own supply at Seaguard. No reason to return if you do not wish it. If you do, you may take my longboat."
Very well. We'll speak with...
I imagine saving Bear's Crossing and the Lord's wife will have earned us a boat from the port of Seaguard. That's my guess. Araldus casually adds.
Lady Wynn agrees. She's like, "I am sure Lord Dalinar will do that, and quite frankly, I will order it myself if I have to."
Yeah, well, I mean...
So after you sup, Sir Colin says, "Shall we go talk to the prisoner?"
Yes, but beforehand, he says, kind of like outside of, as they're walking along and Araldus and everyone's there, depending upon who wants to be there. Do you have any specifics, anything you request to know it would help direct such a thing.
Colin says, I would like to know troop movements if possible, and where they are planning to raid us. They've been raiding us for months now, and we've been fighting small skirmishes here or there, but there's never enough of them to catch them all. They've been using clansmen even to attack. Somehow they've hired mercenaries from the Vale or the North.
Very well. I'll do the best I can to see if I can glean this information for you.
A quick question. I am not one that's well versed in the politics of Westeros. But have you ever considered, he said earlier he's a relative of someone on this side of Mallister lands? Have we ever thought of just simply asking Sir Evers if there was an honorable way to, I hate to use the word turncloak, but to find it more a better opportunity to serve the Mallisters?
Colin shrugs and he's like, I don't even know if he's telling the truth. I've never heard that from any of our House Weathers friends. Sir Bryce has never said anything, and nor has Lord Hoster. That he has relatives that serve the Freys, that seems strange and unlikely.
Well, if we could, after questioning him, always take him to Seaguard, and you could fetch an answer from this House Weathers, and if he is a liar, then he can rot away in a cell within Seaguard or take a headsman axe if you believe it is warranted.
He nods and he's like, well, let's see what he says about the troop movements, and then we will take him to Seaguard. You will take him along with Lady Wynn to Lord Dalinar.
I suggest this time we properly bind him.
He nods. He wasn't here when he was bound, so he doesn't know anything about
That's just like an overall statement. Like,
yep.
Maybe Ian just kind of says that over his shoulder to some guards. Just nonchalantly, like, yeah, you should probably do a better job of that.
And so he nods, and you notice that during dinner, Lewin takes Sir Colin aside and tells him something. It's away from your earshot, so you're not exactly sure what he is telling him. But eventually, after you guys have supped, he comes to you and leads you to a small room where Sir Evers is being held under guard, and he is definitely bound, and he has a fairly large, essentially a dressing on his wound that he took from Sir Colin, and he leads you, the three of you, inside. And he nods towards Sir Evers.
Ian, or Lord Ian, kind of, walks into the room and takes a seat on a nearby nice bit of furniture. Lifts his leg up and crosses it and kind of puts an arm on one of his knees and just kind of like scratches his beard with his free hand.
Evers looks up and he's like, what do you want of me now?
Well, it looks like to me you're not in a really good situation.
He shrugs and he's like, I'm a prisoner of war.
Aye, that you are. And you'll be going to the proper place.
Ah, the noose or the axe?
Oh, no, no, no. You're a prisoner of war. Why would someone kill you? A man's more useful alive than he is dead. And you own land, do you not?
I own a farmstead. Nothing special. I am just a knight.
Well, even still, that's land. They'll ransom your armor, your dignity, your pride.
He laughs and he's like, I serve House Frey. They won't pay for anything of the sort. I am not important enough, not by half.
Such a thing is a loyalty to someone who isn't loyal to you. Aren't knights supposed to swear an oath to their charges, or to whom they protect, and to whom they protect, aren't they supposed to swear charges to you, to protect you, to ransom you?
He just kind of shrugs.
Well, does that not speak sense?
Alright, you want to roll, it sounds like Persuasion Convince.
Yeah, okay. Oh, wow. Really? Well, his intrigue defense might not be that high.
Let me look it up. Yeah, that doesn't work. So Eber's like shakes his head and he's like, the last 20 years have changed the kingdoms. If you want chivalry, go to the Reach.
No, I guess not. I guess chivalry has died along with most of what it is. But you spoke of honor earlier. You spoke of a situation where you are serving King Frey in only reason since you live there. That's exactly what you said outside, is it not?
I said that is how I came into King Frey's service, King Walder Frey's service. It is not the only reason. I have men that I hold dear and family that are under the Frey's protection against the rest
Frey's
of
protection. And yet they wouldn't buy you back from us. They wouldn't dare buy you back, as you just said.
I said
Now,
that
what kind of protection is that?
This is I am a man of arms, not a civilian, not a simple man. If I am to fight and die, I do. If I am to be caught and die, I will.
Well, the simple matter of it all is that you're not dead, Sir Evers. I mean, Sir Weathers. He's a Sir Weathers, right?
Weatherford.
Weatherford, okay.
Yeah.
Sir Weatherford, you're not dead. And to waste your life would be useless. I'm offering you a chance to speak on your behalf to, I forget the name of Colin's lord.
Dalinar.
To Lord Dalinar on your behalf to see you go home. But such things cost. While they might not cost monetarily, you have family here, you once said. They'll vouch for you too, if that's the truth. You need not die hopelessly.
He kind of chuckles and he's like, I can only imagine what you want, my lord. If you even are a lord.
I'm very much a lord.
You have been duplicitous to me before, if you do not remember.
Oh, yes. Well, I can't say that wasn't out of place, but the phrase are the phrase. And I share an ill-begotten feeling towards the phrase. My wife would roll over in the grave if she knew I was working with them.
He doesn't seem... Well, actually, go ahead and roll Persuasion Bargain, because that's kind of what this is. And you're going to take a -1 to your roll since you failed the previous roll. Okay, that succeeds. So it's two degrees of success. He kind of looks at you and he's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "No, I do not want to die. No, I do not want to be held in a cell for the rest of my days or until this war is over, whenever that might be." He's like, "Just get on with it."
Well, I'll spare you the boring details since you are just a simple man. Sir Colin here wishes to glean some information from you. And if you comply, I give you my word, whatever it may be to you, that I will do my best to protect you and speak to Lord Dalinar on behalf and speak to your family, as you would say they are, the Weathers, and see that you're either, until the end of the war, given house arrest capabilities, and then at the end of it, given sanction as such to reclaim your lands and all that you have lost during the war.
He kind of goes, "Huh," and like looks up and scratches his stubble. It's like, I don't know what to make of this.
And to add to it, I'll make sure that you get some sort of compensation for entertainment. And he goes, Sir Colin, would it be out of the question to get this man some ale, alcohol, wine?
He's like, I could arrange it. And Ebers like interjects and he says, actually, roll persuasion bargain one more time.
With a negative again?
No. So he says, I could be convinced to tell you. All I require is one. Well, I require what you have said plus one thing.
And what would that be?
And he says, a simple kiss from your daughter, my lord.
Geraldus laughs.
Because you remember he had the hots for her.
Oh god, there's like a moment where like Ian chuckles to himself.
So you can't tell from his face if he's fucking with you or what. But
Like there's just like a moment of like, if you tell me how what we want to know, and that is all you require, then I'm sure my daughter will oblige. He just kind of like rolls his eyes towards her.
yeah, Rob said she probably wasn't there. But
Oh, okay, yeah. It's
Tongue or no tongue?
he says, what do you talk about? I'm talking about the Lord's kiss. No, I'm just kidding, but he like kind of just like Colin's like basically rolling his eyes and like rubbing his face, and Evers is like, I'm joking, my lord. I don't know any lord that would agree to such a thing for his daughter. And he just like shakes his head. And I want you to roll your deception bluff, but you're gonna take a 1d penalty. So you're gonna keep one less dice.
Oh well, I need to roll a die, but okay, so that doesn't really matter, but it's still 10.
Okay. So he makes a very good point to everyone present, which is Colin, really, that matters, and Evers. And no one says anything, but Evers looks at Colin and he's like, fine, take me to Lord Dalinar. I'll tell him whatever you want. Just don't let me go. Just as long as I'm not hung from the rafters.
I look at Sir Colin and say, well, you may ask this man your questions. I know not which. I assume that you may be a little bit more pertinent to military matters than I would, but
Yeah, so over the next couple hours, Ian probably even leaves, or maybe he doesn't, but
I leave and let him ask his questions.
yeah, so
the deal's been struck. So
yep. So basically, they stay in the room for several hours, and Ian departs, and the next day you're given very modest quarters. The next day, Colin approaches you, and he's like, "I need you to take Lady Wind to Seaguard now."
I offered as much. And I just kind of get ready for the day. I imagine they do too.
Okay. So as you're departing, Colin rides out with Wynn and his guards for a while, and he looks over at Ian and he says, "I don't know what game you're playing, my lord, but Sir Evers had quite a good point." And he kind of pauses and he stops and he looks like he changes his mind about something. He's like, "No, Wynn will not go with you. You need to take the longboat that I have provided and go from these lands immediately."
You let some common man talk you out of a deal with me. Well, that's fine.
He's like, "No, my lord." He's like, "When a man lies to me, his trust is broken. Wynn has told me her deal with you was to provide you with a boat. I am providing you with a boat. You will leave now. I will have my guards escort you to the docks."
Fair enough, Sir Colin. May the Seven watch over you, Araldus kind of says offhandedly. We will trouble you no more.
Good luck with this Frey business.
He's like, "It's a business we've been involved in for over 20 years. Who could say if it'll be good or bad luck? It'll be bloody, that's all I know. And I assume your future will be as well." And he looks at the girl and he's like, "My lady, stay well."
Claire gives him a bow. "And you, Sir Colin." Sort of stiff.
Yeah.
Whatever. If he doesn't want our help, he doesn't get it.
Yeah, I'm trying to play Colin as he would be played, so the guards lead you down to what is essentially a very small dock, and there is a small longboat there, and you're all essentially you're forced to leave your horses because there's no room for your horses on the boat, obviously.
Whatever.
So there's someone at the dock who gives you a pittance, basically, for them. Doesn't give you very much for those horses. But then you're loaded onto the longboat, and the captain comes up to you and he asks, "Where to?"
That depends upon how far you can take me.
And so, as you discuss where to go, that's where our session ends. That way, we can determine that later, and then we can go from there.